The winter can scare a lot of us cyclists away. Heading out on our bikes in the cold, snowy, icy roads, well, it just doesn't seem as inviting as the nice, dry, warm sunshine, does it?
Yeah, it's not, is it? When you get really cold on the bike, it's just not enjoyable, and then the risk of riding on icy and snowy roads. But we're not going to let this weather stop us. Oh no. So we've got our best top tips and tricks to get you riding on these icy roads.
First up, if you are going to ride in these minus conditions, you want to be dressed appropriately for the conditions. You want to layer up, wear your warmer cycling clothes and also a good pair of gloves and overshoes, because the last thing you want is numb hands and feet, because, well, you won't have control over the bike.
Yeah, now some people feel the cold more than others. If you're one that, well, struggles with the cold, it's a good idea to wear a hat to hold that heat in. And then a neck scarf like this one to put over your nose and mouth, especially on the descents. And then you've got to think about your core. Good thermal base layer, marry it up with a long sleeve top. And if it's really cold, a good jacket too.
Pick your roads carefully and plan ahead. Ideally, you want to stick to roads that have been well treated and gritted. This way, you're going to avoid any patches of ice.
Yeah, now it's a good idea to do a quick Google search so you can find out what are the safest roads and the ones, like Manuel says, has been best gritted. I would always say though, have a chat to some of the locals if you're new to an area, and that way you can find out what are the safest roads to take your road bike.
If you do happen to come across any ice, we would recommend getting off and walking around it. It's better to be safe than sorry, hey Hank?
It is.
But if you do happen to come across some ice and ride across it, just try and keep calm, relax, don't brake, don't make any sudden movements, but that is very easy to say, isn't it?
And hard to do.
When riding in these icy conditions, you want to keep your pedalling style nice and smooth and avoid any sudden changes in direction. You also want to ride in a little bit harder gear than usual, as it can be quite easy to lose traction of your rear wheel when you do hit an icy patch. It's kind of like riding up a steep hill that's covered in leaves.
It's also a good idea to have a think about where you're riding on the road. And what I mean by that is not riding in the gutter by the side of the road where, look, you've got a lot of snow built up, a lot of ice. And also a top tip is to look at where the cars have driven. That way it's a good chance it's not going to be so icy. Now, while riding in these icy conditions, your stopping distance could be extended a lot. So calculate that into when you're thinking about changing directions, or you're coming to a junction, or you're coming to a stop.
Riding in the snow and the slush can kick up a lot of dirt and salt onto your bike, and it can actually cause damage and corrosion in the long run. So it's a good idea to look after your little buddy, give it a good rinse down after every ride and get all that disgustingness off.
Now, it's a good idea also to use some lubricants that can go into the minus conditions, especially if you're riding in these conditions a lot. What do you reckon, Manon?
Well, this is the perfect example actually, because this little guy needs a good clean, I reckon, Hank. So what are you going to do when we get back?
Spend a lot of time cleaning and greasing it.
And then put in the proper winter lube on so your chain doesn't freeze?
That too.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I'll be inspecting it after you've done it.
Thank you.
So you better do a good job.
Oh!
Talking about the bike, winter tyres are a must. I've got these on from Pirelli, and winter tyres tend to have more tread and grip on them and a little bit better on the puncture protection side.
Yeah, now if you want to take this a little bit further and your bike allows, so what I mean by that is that you've got good clearance in your forks and your rear chainstays, you could potentially go for wider tyres and more cyclocross or gravel style tyres with a lot more tread.
Another little tip is to let some air out the tyres too. This is really going to help with grip. Now, you might not feel warm, but you will still sweat a lot, so it's important to keep on top of hydration. That being said, it can be quite hard to drink when you're riding in -degrees, and there is the risk of your bottle, the water in your bottle freezing. So you might want to try insulated bottles to stop that from happening.
Yeah, you could also, a top tip that I actually learned from Manon, is instead of keeping your bottle in your bottle cage, put it in your back pocket. That way, it uses your body heat to keep it from freezing.
Ooh.
And another top tip is if you want to have a hot drink in it, like a hot beverage, cocoa, or even a cup of tea for you English folk out there, well, it could warm you up as well as the bottle.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Just need to put it
a little
up.
coffee stop.
Put it up my jersey, because
You're right.
it doesn't fit in my pocket. There we go.
It is easier than he's making it look.
There we go. It's in there. There we go. Oh.
Nice and toasty?
Yeah, it's really toasty. I just didn't put tea in it. It's ice cold water. When riding in wintry conditions, there's a higher probability of rain and fog and even that low light. And it can be really difficult for other road users to see us cyclists. So it's a good idea to add one of them to your bike.
Saying that, Hank, it can be quite easy to forget to put lights on, but these little lights here, they can be left on your bike all winter round. So you're always prepared, even when the weather changes. And you just need to remember to charge them now and again.
It's small, but it could just save your life.
Small and effective. So there we have it. Those are some of our best tips on how to ride in icy conditions. But remember guys, don't risk it for a biscuit if the weather conditions are just too bad. There's lots of different alternatives. You could ride indoors, or you could just sit on the sofa and watch GCN videos.
Yeah, now we hope we've made a video that's helped you. If we have, then let us know in the comment section below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, even if it's just for the incredible scenery that the Swiss Alps has to offer.
It's pretty amazing.
Go steady on that ice there, man. We
Do not worry, I am not riding on any ice. I do not like to risk it for any biscuits, not even a custard cream.
Steady. Oh, she just fell over.